We are graphing the sine and cosine function. And today we did it last week, but we only did it with changing the period and what else?
Altitude.
Started with an A.
Yeah.
Amplitude.
Yeah.
Amplitude.
No.
Today we are going to take this graph, we're going to move it up and down and left and right and all that. All right? So that means rather than do it by hand, we're going to learn how to do it on the calculator. Okay? The equations now have changed because they now have more letters in them than they did last week. What letters did they have in them last week? A and B. Now, this is what the equation looks like. I was looking to see if it's used capital letters. Some authors of the books use capital, some use little letters, so it really doesn't matter. I was just trying to stay consistent. This is the equation now. It will not change from this point forward. This is all the letters that go in it. Can you tell me what the letter A stands for? Amplitude. However, isn't it true it is the absolute value of A?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know the absolute value of A is amplitude, right? Okay, what is the period of the graph?
2 pi over b.
2 pi over b.
2 pi over the...
Or the, yeah, that's what it's called.
2 pi over the absolute value of b.
Yeah.
Yes. And for the most part, when we graph, we will graph one period. All right? Now, what changes is we now have a phase shift. A phase shift means we're moving the graph left or right. Didn't we always start at 0 when we graphed?
Yeah.
It may not start there now. Phase shift, left or right. The phase shift is C over B. All right. Now notice it is a minus. All right? Don't forget that's a minus in there. But when we do the phase shift, we just do C and B. We ignore that, okay? And then our vertical shift means up and down is D. The vertical shift is D. If D is positive or greater than 0, it shifts up. If D is less than 0, it shifts down. Now, I didn't tell you about the phase shift. The phase shift, if it's in this form, it shifts right. If it's in the bx plus c, it shifts left because it's backwards.
If B was negative and it changed to a positive answer, then either C or B, would you
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. But what you have to understand is you're going to let your calculator do that hard stuff for you. Right? All right. Shall we do a simple one? Okay. Let's go to your calculator. We're going to do everything in radian mode. All right. Now, the key is your window. All right? What does your window say now?
-10 to 10.
-10 to 10. Okay. That doesn't help us, does it? So before we do the window, you've got to know what your period is. Because don't we want to graph from the beginning of the period to the end of the period?
Yes.
Right? So for now, let's do one period of a normal graph. So let's do from 0 to 2 pi. X minimum 0, x maximum 2 pi. All right? Now, just for fun, let's do y minimum -3, y maximum 3. And leave y scale as 1. We didn't do x scale, did we? Isn't it true when we marked a graph, we marked every fourth A period?
Yeah.
Didn't we? Sine, cosine? So if the period is 2 pi, what is a fourth of that period? That's what you want your x scale to be. A fourth of your period. All right, everybody have it? So, let's graph one. You're going to graph it on your calculator, and I don't know how much previous you have graphed on your calculator. I don't know. So if I say something you don't know how to do, you're going to have to tell me. Okay? So what if I give you y equals 2 sine of x? Let's just do that one first, so you'll see what it looks like. So go to y equals. Wait a minute. Before you do that, clear out y equal and go to graph and let me see if your graph looks right. Let's check it. Oh, you got it in there. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, you got your screwed up. You see how you have that strip here? Yeah. See, chin or shoulder yours. See what I'm saying? You have it also. Show your window. Show your window. Show her your graph.
Okay, that's the graph. Second graph. That's how you get it there. I can get it for you.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll clean on its own. All right. this graph, shouldn't it start, isn't the period 2 pi?
Yeah.
We know the sine graph starts at 0. The only thing we changed on this is the amplitude of 2, right? So did it start at 0? At pi over 2, is it 2? Do you all know how to trace? No, I don't know. Do you? So push trace and type in pi over 2. Right? It'll work. Does it say it's 2? And then where is it at pi? 0. It's where it better be, hadn't it? And then at 3 pi over 2, where is it?
I think I'm messed up. I'm not gonna.
What?
Trace.
Put your mask on.
So this right here.
Trace is right there.
Trace.
This is here from last
Type in pi over 2.
I don't know how to do top. I don't know how to do top.
At pi over 2. I think your scale is off. Your x scale should be pi over 2.
The X scale should be pi over 2 with the X max.
No, I've never seen this.
No, x max was 2 pi.
Oh, okay.
What's wrong with yours? What you do is that crap.
You really use that first. He's gonna do it.
Oh, I know what's wrong.
Oh, it's looking a lot better now.
See, we've got the plug turned on. We just turned it off. Oh, what happened to your graph? Fix your graph. And where it was? 0 to 2 pi? Okay. Does everybody else agree with what I said? Did you trace?
Yeah.
All right. You still have that over there.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right? So, if we were to graph that, we could have plotted the points, right? And didn't it do, at pi over 2, it went to 2, 0, negative 2, didn't it? That wasn't negative 2.
Yeah.
Negative 2 was here, and then back to 0. So this is what we graphed last week, wasn't it? Let's move some things around. Shall we? Just for fun? So let's do y equals cosine x minus pi over 3. What's my amplitude?
1.
1? Don't put that in your calculator yet. It ain't going to work. We got to figure out what we need. It's the amplitude 1. What's the period?
Pi.
Pi? Period is pi. What is the phase shift? Pi over 6?
Yeah.
And by the way, that's going to be to the right. Isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay. What is the vertical shift? I'm to say
None.
none. Now, this is a cosine graph, right? You're going to graph one period, which means when you go to your window, you're going to graph from 0 to pi. Why?
It goes to pi.
Because the period is pi. Okay? Now, what about my x scale? Maybe, but we shifted it pi over 6. So that may throw us off. So we're going to try pi over 4. Generally, we take the period and divide it by 4 and start from there. Okay? What? So, everybody have it in? Okay, type the equation. Now, it's a cosine graph, so normally it starts at the top, doesn't it? Yes? It doesn't start at the top, though, does it? Do you know why? Because we shifted it. So my calculator, or your calculator, has to guide me or you on what to do. Do you see the little tick marks on your calculator? Are they following where the graph is doing something? No?
Can you say that again?
The little tick marks. Are they where the graph is either at the top or the bottom or the middle? No. So let's go back to our window. What was our scale? Pi over 4. We had a pi over 6 shift. So can we try pi over 12? Why would I choose pi over 12? Well, that wouldn't multiply together. That's a common denominator for the two. I knew that's what you were thinking. The right word wasn't. So try for your scale pi over 12.
Why would it be pi over 12 though?
Because what would be a common denominator between pi over 6 and pi over 4?
Pi over 12.
That's why.
Well, it couldn't also be 24.
It could.
Oh, but it doesn't really matter, does
No.
it?
But 24 puts a lot of tick marks in it. So if I can stay with fewer, it makes my life easier. Did that help? Did I hit some of them?
Yes.
Okay.
But
But it hit one of them, so that's going to help me figure it out, right? Okay, now, understand that each tick mark is 1/12 pi, right? So when I mark my graph, should I mark it accordingly? Does that make sense to you? So I am actually, even though I have a crooked line, I'm going to have 12 marks. So this must be pi, and I need to say this is pi over 12, because that's what my scale is. That's what I'm telling it. Okay? Now, you all have to help me. I don't have a calculator in front of me. Now that it's hitting our tick marks, when x is 0, what is y? When x is 0, what is y?
0.
Tell me. What?
0.5.
Exactly, or a little more?
When I trace 6 is 0.5. Yeah.
So it's a half?
I think I might have done something wrong then.
So I'm right here. Do you all agree? That's my first point? Well, first of all, you don't have the right equation.
Back 50 y. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Alright, I don't have a calculator. I know in my head what I think this graph looks like, but I need you to tell me. It's a cosine graph. So when I leave 0, am I going up or down? Up. So can you give me a point?
5 over 6 is, whenever x goes 5 over 6, 5 is 1.
You all agree? Trace it. And that really makes sense because doesn't cosine start at 1 and I shifted it pi over 6? So I'm at, what did you say?
Whenever x
Pi over 6, which is my second mark, right? At 1. Because I have to pay attention to what mark that is, don't I? Do you all agree? Now what? Now doesn't the cosine graph somewhere go through 0?
Yeah.
Where?
5 over 12 or 5 over 12, I think.
Trace it.
how do you do it with y?
You don't. You have to do that.
Okay.
You think it's 5 pi over 12?
That's what it looks like.
Did you trace it?
Yeah. How do you put fractions in there when you trace?
Just like 5 pi divided by 12.
Oh.
Whenever it says 5 pi divided by 12, it doesn't give me 0, but it looks like it's on the 0 mark.
What does it give you?
Negative 1 times 10 to the negative 13.
Okay, good. It gave you
So
this.
it's just ever so slightly below.
It gave you this. Isn't this number negative point this?
Based on, yes.
I don't even think I can mark that below the line. And what happens is your calculator carries it so far out. Anytime you have a number times 10 to the negative whatever, that's 0. Your calculator just doesn't round it. So you said 5 pi over 12 and 0, right? Now, can I go to negative 1? Don't I?
Yes.
But look, how far is it here? Isn't it 1, 2, 3 marks? So at 3 marks, it should be negative 1, shouldn't it? What's 3 marks past 5 pi over 12?
3.
I was saying 8 pi over 12, so they can make them count it, but yeah. So it's here? Did I just find out that 3 marks is a fourth of my graph? So what's going to happen in the next 3 marks? Where's it going to be? 0. You see it because it's both symmetric. So I'm at 0 here. Okay, where am I at pi?
25.
Didn't we say a period was pi? So we better be back where we started. So basically my graph looks like this. And it really shouldn't curve here. It really should just like that. It's a curve. Follows those points. Did that sort of make sense? You see how by hand it would be?
Yes.
It's not impossible because You know, they used to not have calculators.
Time consuming.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
time.
Well, I took trig with no calculator. All right, you ready to do one more?
Sure.
We're going to have to do it faster or we're going to run out of time.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Because we need to do a everything shift. All right? The amplitude is what?
1/2.
1/2. What's the period? What? 6 pi.
Yeah.
No phase shift. What's the vertical shift? One which way? Down. Put it in. Well, first of all, on your window, what did we say a period was? 6 pi? Didn't we?
Yeah.
So, what is our, we go from 0 to 6 pi. What is our scale going to be? Okay. That sounds good to me. To make life easier, do you agree that I shifted that graph one down? So really, here is the center of my graph. Because I shifted it one down. Right?
I thought you said it's, I guess you do.
So what I'm going to do is actually going to graph off of this line. Everything I want, instead of being whatever 0, I want it to be whatever -1. Okay? Do you have it? And we did 6 pi, didn't we? So we said this was 3 pi over 2? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You just put, you type it in exactly like that? Yeah, you type it in. No, not in the window. No, sorry, in the y equals. What is, when x is 0, we always start with x to be 0. What is y? Trace it.
-1.
-1.
It should be, because we just shifted down, didn't we? So my first point is right here. Now, at x to be 3 pi over 2, what is y?
-1.
Here?
Yeah.
Does that make sense, since my amplitude's a half, that it just went up a half? Okay. What is this x value? Is it 2 times 3 pi over 2? Okay, what is that? Is what? 3 pi. So at 3 pi, where is y? Chandler. Well, did you find this point with us?
No.
Is your graph in your calculator?
No. That's where I'm confused at.
Just type that in under y equals.
I did that. What is my Windows?
0 to 6 pi.
Okay. And why is just negative 1.
Why does it really matter?
Yeah, I know.
As long as you have your whole graph,
Yeah.
right?